Today, on July 29th at 9:09 p.m., Archangel Michael saw Satan rejoice as you trusted the wrong soul. The devil's energy attached that day. You must break it now. At exactly 9:09 p.m. on July 29th, heaven grew still. Archangel Michael looked down and saw what you didn't. A soul you trusted smiled, but beneath it, Satan rejoiced. Not because of what they did, but because you believed them. That trust became the bridge, and through it, dark energy came. It was silent, invisible, but it entered, and it attached. What followed were moments of confusion, fatigue, and fear. You blamed yourself, circumstances, even God at times. But Michael whispered, the devil used their mouth as bait. And now, heaven says it's time to break what entered. You are not crazy. You are not cursed. But you are targeted. Because your light frightens the darkness. Your calling threatened hell. The devil couldn't stop your anointing, so he tried to slow it. And he used someone close. Someone soft. Someone familiar. That's why it worked. Because your heart was open wide. God says, the snake used the robe of a sheep. You're not being punished. You're being awakened. This message isn't random. It is precise spiritual surgery. You were marked by energy that did not belong to you. But tonight, you will cut the cord. You will rise again. This is not just information. It's a divine intervention. Michael has returned, not to warn, but to war for you. It's time. He's naming the moment. He's drawing his sword. Because what entered on July 29th must now be expelled. And you must not scroll past this or delay it. Your peace, your power, your next season depends on it. The devil clapped once, but heaven is roaring now. Your freedom is here, and this message is your deliverance. Let every spirit that snuck in be exposed. Let every chain that grew from trust be shattered now. Type I am protected to get the blessing 4932. It started with something small. A conversation. A kind word. A gesture that seemed normal. You didn't feel fear. You didn't feel anything wrong. In fact, you felt safe. That's how the enemy works. He does not roar at first. He whispers. He mimics love. He copies light. That person was not evil at the surface, but they were carrying something. A wood. A shadow. An unseen agreement with the wrong side. They didn't even know they were being used. But the moment they stepped into your space, the devil smiled. Because your heart was wide open. Because your trust was not guarded. Michael saw it clearly. The exact second you let them in. The enemy did not send a stranger. He sent someone familiar. Someone who knew how to speak your language. Someone who knew your rhythm, your patterns, your past. And because you wanted to believe the best in them, you did not notice the slight shift. The moment the energy changed. That's how darkness hides, in comfort, in routine, in smiles. It doesn't scream. It blends in. It hides in people who are hurting, bitter, jealous, or broken. And when you invited them in, you also opened a door. Type I am rising to get the blessing 7856. You didn't open that door on purpose. You were just being kind. You were just being you. But the enemy doesn't need your permission to attack, just your attention. The moment they started to ask too many questions. The moment they wanted to know your next steps. The moment they commented on your light, your growth, your peace. That's when their words became weapons. Not sharp at first, but slow and spiritual. That's when Michael knew this wasn't casual anymore. It was calculated. The devil had sent this person like a cloud to block your sunlight. There's a reason you felt so tired lately. There's a reason you've been more confused. It's not that you lost your way. It's that someone else's energy was pulling on yours. You thought you were slipping into sadness, but you were actually under spiritual pressure. That pressure came from an attachment. Not romantic, not emotional, but spiritual. It latched on like smoke. You couldn't see it, but it was in the air. And the longer you stayed near this person, the more it settled on you. It made you question yourself, doubt your strength, delay your decisions. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 8421. Michael wants you to know this clearly. It is not your fault. You were targeted because you are marked. You are marked because you carry light. The enemy wanted that light dimmed, not destroyed, just delayed. Because if he can delay you, he can distract you. And if he can distract you, he can exhaust you. That's what was happening. You were being spiritually drained through invisible cords. That person was the entry point. And now that door must be closed. You can still love them. You can still forgive. But you must not ignore what your spirit now sees. You felt it, didn't you? That moment you started feeling different around them. That quiet discomfort. That sense of being watched, judged, or copied. That wasn't paranoia. That was your spirit sounding the alarm. But your heart wanted to believe it was nothing. Michael is saying, your heart was loyal, but your spirit was correct. And now, heaven is confirming what you sensed. That interaction was not neutral. It was charged. The devil used them like a wire. The shock didn't happen immediately, but the burn was real. Tap I'm anointed to get blessing 9999. And here's the truth. You still have time to break it. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. In fact, the fact that you're reading this proves that heaven is with you. Michael is standing by your side right now, cutting every hidden cord. But you must agree. You must say, no more access. You must speak it out loud. Because spiritual doors are closed with spiritual words. And today, you will speak what heaven has already declared. This soul will not be bound by dark energy. His soul is rising. The devil wanted to cling to your kindness, but now he's being exposed. You're not just going to be free, you're going to be wiser. Because this time, your eyes are open. You know what to look for. You can feel when energy shifts. You will never let your guard down again. And those who once accessed you freely, they'll feel the shift. Because your spirit is being cleansed, your space is being reset, and your path is being cleared. This is the breaking. This is the moment. Type I am delivered to get the blessing 6504. You were not blind. You were not careless. You were simply trusting. You thought what you felt was just your imagination. You thought your doubts were unfair, your discomfort just a bad day. But Michael says no. Those were warnings, not fear, not judgment. Warnings from your spirit. There were signs before the attack fully arrived. But you were trying to hold on to peace. You were trying to believe in people. That's noble, but also dangerous. Because when your heart leads and your spirit is quieted, darkness can sneak in through kindness. The first sign was the shift in your sleep. You started waking up tired. Dreams became heavy, confusing, or dark. You couldn't explain it. But deep down, you knew something was different. You stopped waking up with clarity. You started waking up with questions. And it didn't make sense. Until now. When Satan attaches through energy, it first shows up in your rest. Because rest is where God speaks. So the enemy attacks that first. To cloud you. To silence divine downloads. To keep you from seeing clearly. Type I am covered to get the blessing 7752. Then there was the change in your mood. You became anxious without cause. You felt sadness without reason. You were irritated by little things. You even pulled back from people who never hurt you. That wasn't just stress. That was spiritual weight. It was never yours to carry. It was transferred to you through that connection. It came through the words they spoke, through the eye contact that lingered too long, through the strange silence after they said something kind. That was not love. That was manipulation wrapped in affection. You noticed how they always needed to know what you were doing, where you were going, how you were feeling. It seemed caring, but it was control. They were feeding off your energy, but not giving you anything in return. That's how the devil moves. He hides behind words like concern and friendship. But in truth, he is draining the light out of you one touch at a time. And when they left, you always felt empty. It wasn't you, but with the residue of what they carried. Type I am awakened to get the blessing 8891. There was also the jealousy. It was quiet, but it was there. The way they reacted when you succeeded. The way they smiled when you struggled. You felt it, but you didn't want to accuse. Michael says that wasn't in your head. That was discernment. Your spirit was showing you their true posture. They clapped for you publicly, but competed with you privately. They praised you with their lips, but cursed you in their thoughts. And your spirit knew. But you silenced that inner alarm. You told yourself, they love me. That love doesn't come with control. It doesn't twist. And doesn't drain. Then came the spiritual confusion. You stopped hearing God the way you used to. Your prayers felt blocked. Your worship felt dry. You started second-guessing what you once knew deeply. You were not backsliding. You were being clouded. The devil's goal was not to steal your faith, but to confuse it, because confusion delays obedience, and delayed obedience delays your blessing. The moment they entered your space, it disrupted your spiritual signal. That's why you felt disconnected from heaven. But Michael says that signal is returning. Right now. This moment. Type I'm redeemed to get blessing 9317. You might be wondering, why would God allow this? The truth is, He did. He warned you. He sent feelings. He sent dreams. He sent small tensions and awkward moments. But you gave that person a place they didn't earn. And now, God is using this moment to train you, to sharpen your gift. Because after this, you won't just have faith, you'll have fire. You won't just be anointed, you'll be armored. This pain wasn't to break you. It was to wake you. And now that you're awake, your eyes can't go back to sleep. You must now ask yourself a hard question. Who else feels like this? Who drains me? Who watches me but doesn't pray for me? Who celebrates my storms but hides in my sunshine? These are not just people. They are patterns. The enemy uses the same pattern through different faces. But after today, you will see the pattern before it poisons you. You will feel the shift before it settles. You are not just healing. You are being spiritually upgraded. This is your new beginning. And it started the moment you said yes to truth. Type I am restored to get blessing 7128. You felt that shift, didn't you? As the truth exposed the devil's trap, something inside you broke free. And right now, others need this same freedom. When you sow into this word, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping light flood the dark places in someone else's soul. God said in Isaiah 60:1, "Rise, shine, for your light has come." This is your moment to rise, and to help others rise with you. I heard the Spirit say, if they give in this moment, I will return it in multiplied protection. Your offering becomes oil on this altar, so like you've just been delivered, and command your seed to move heaven. Don't wait. Move now. Let your giving shake the gates of hell. The devil could have used anyone, but he chose them. He didn't pick them by accident. He watched. He waited. He saw who you loved, who you trusted, who you listened to. And he chose the one who had easy access to your heart. Not because they were evil, but because they were open. Open to jealousy. Open to bitterness. Open to confusion. They were already wounded, and unhealed wounds leak poison. The devil didn't need them to hate you, just envy you. Because envy is silent. Envy hides, but envy opens doors. And once the door opened in their heart, you became a target. This person was close. Too close. That's what made it work. The devil didn't need to break in. He was let in. Through conversations. Through questions. Through hidden thoughts. They started to speak differently about you behind your back. Their compliments became colder. Their support became selective. And slowly, they became a carrier of confusion, a carrier of heaviness, a carrier of spiritual noise. They didn't even notice the shift, but your spirit did. And even though you didn't say anything, you felt it. You started pulling back without knowing why. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 8087. This is why you must be careful with access. Not everyone who loves you can carry your light. Some people admire you, but they also compete silently. And that silent competition creates a spiritual crack. That crack becomes a door for dark energy to pass through. It doesn't mean they're a bad person. It means they're unhealed. And the enemy uses the unhealed to reach the anointed. He whispers in their weakness, they think they're better than you. And before long, love turns to resentment. Support turns to spying. And closeness becomes contamination. They began speaking against you in quiet places. They questioned your favor. They doubted your calling. They wanted to be near you, but also wanted what you had. They clapped for you, but secretly asked, "Why not me?" And the devil took those whispers and added his own. He said, "Watch them fall." And they listened. But God says, "Touch not my anointed." And now, they are no longer just someone you knew. They are someone heaven is watching. Because once they agreed with darkness, they became a threat. Type I am set apart to get the blessing 7204. You may still love them. That's okay. But you must understand this. Love does not mean access. Forgiveness does not mean permission. You can bless someone from a distance. You can forgive someone and still protect your space. Michael is not telling you to hate them. He's telling you to separate. Because when you stay too close to a carrier, you become exposed to what they're carrying. And right now, heaven is calling for cleansing. They may reach out. They may act like nothing happened, but your spirit already knows the truth. They saw your light, and the devil used their shadow. This doesn't mean your kindness was a mistake. It means your discernment must now lead. You are not obligated to keep anyone close just because they were there before your breakthrough. Some people can only handle the old you. A healed version makes them uncomfortable. That's why they changed when you started to rise. Type I am protected to get blessing 8345. This moment is not just about them. It's about every connection you allow from this day forward. Your heart is pure, but your gates must be strong. The devil will always send someone who feels safe. But now, your spirit will see before your emotions respond. You are being trained. Not just healed, but equipped. You are becoming someone who knows the signs, who hears the whispers before they become storms. You are no longer just surviving. You are stepping into spiritual authority. This attack came through a familiar face, but it will be broken through divine separation. You're not running away. You're rising above. Michael is standing guard now. Heaven is clearing your air. Every unclean spirit that entered through this soul must leave. Every false bond must break. Every fake smile must fade. Because your next season will be protected. Not just by angels, but by your own wisdom. You are not easy to reach anymore. And the devil just lost his access point. Type I am strengthened to get blessing 9122. On July 29th at 9:09 p.m., something unseen came near. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. But it was real. That energy did not knock on your door. It walked through someone you trusted. And when you welcomed them in, what they carried attached itself to you. It was spiritual. It didn't hurt right away. But it started changing your thoughts. It started pressing down on your body. You became heavier without explanation. Your smile faded slowly. Your peace felt interrupted. You started questioning things you used to feel strong about. This wasn't just emotion. It was transfer. Something from them was transferred into your atmosphere. It wasn't a demon in the way Hollywood shows it. It was more subtle. A spirit of doubt. A spirit of delay. A cloud of confusion. A silent fatigue that entered your room and sat in the corners of your life. You stopped feeling clear. You stopped hearing God with confidence. And that's when the enemy clapped. Not because you sinned, but because you didn't notice. That's what makes spiritual attacks dangerous. They blend into your life until you think it's just you. But Archangel Michael says this is not just you. This is something that must be removed before it roots itself deeper. Type I am released to get the blessing 8644. Is spirit attached through closeness, through conversation, through agreement. The devil knows he cannot curse what God has blessed, so he sends contamination instead. What contaminated you was subtle. It came through words that sounded harmless. Questions like, are you sure that's your calling? Or do you really think God will do that for you? At first, they seemed like opinions. But in the spirit realm, they were curses. Not the loud kind. The silent kind that eat away at your destiny one sentence at a time. And because you trusted the person, you didn't block the words. You carried those words into your day, into your dreams, into your decisions. You started to pull back from your assignments. You began doubting your purpose. You got quieter in the spirit. You prayed less. Not because you were rebellious, but because the weight was growing. What attached to you was not only spiritual, it was strategic. It was meant to hold you in place while your blessings moved forward without you. The enemy knows how time works, and he wants you late. He wants you disconnected from the moment heaven scheduled for you. Type I am advancing to get the blessing 7905. But now that energy is being called out. It doesn't have a legal right to stay. The person who carried it may still be near, but the cord they used is being broken. Right now, Michael is cutting every spiritual rope that tied you to confusion. Every lie they planted is being pulled up from the roots. Every word that entered your spirit without permission is being reversed. What you felt in the days after July 29th was not depression. It was spiritual pressure from something not sent by God. And now it has to go. You are not weak. You are not spiritually lost. You are not cursed. You were infected by something you didn't see. And that infection tried to grow through your thoughts, your emotions, and your decisions. But today, your spirit is fighting back. The light inside you is rising again. The flame that flickered is now burning stronger. The attachment is losing its grip. You may feel a little dizzy as it detaches. You may even feel emotional. That's not a breakdown, that's a release. Let it go. Let the tears fall. Let the spiritual winds blow. You are being cleaned out. Type I am whole to get the blessing 9266. There's a reason this message found you. Heaven marked this moment. The same way the enemy marked 9:09 p.m. as a moment to sneak in, God marked this message as a moment to push it out. You are not just hearing words, you are experiencing deliverance. What entered on at night is being reversed tonight. What was dark is being exposed. What was silent is being shouted out of your soul. The power of God is not just protecting you. It is removing what tried to hide in your light. This is spiritual surgery, and it's working now. Archangel Michael says, you were covered even while under attack. The devil thought he succeeded because you looked tired. But heaven never lost sight of you. You were surrounded by angels even when you didn't feel it. And now, those angels are driving out every spirit, every curse, every chain that came with that connection. You're not leaving this message the same. Your peace will return. Your joy will restart. Your clarity will come back. This is your cleansing. This is your moment. Type I am made new to get blessing 8433. While you were going through your normal day, a battle was already happening above you. It wasn't in the sky. It was in the spirit. You couldn't see it. You didn't hear swords or shouting. But it was very real. Angels were fighting on your behalf. Archangel Michael stood with his sword drawn, guarding you from what you didn't even know had entered. The enemy thought he could hide the attack by wrapping it in something familiar. But heaven saw everything. Every word spoken against you. Every jealous thought sent your way. Every seed of confusion planted in your atmosphere. Michael fought for your mind, because that's where the devil tried to land. He didn't come to destroy your house. He came to disturb your thinking, to plant a lie so small it would grow over time. A lie that said, you're not chosen. A lie that said, your blessing was a mistake. A lie that made you question if God was still guiding you. That's where the battle was. Not outside, but inside. And heaven fought hard to keep that lie from becoming your truth. You didn't know it, but your survival was not by luck. It was by war. Type I am victorious to get the blessing 7660. The devil works in silence. He hides in smiles and small talk. He enters through wounds that haven't healed. That person he used, he didn't pick them by accident. He watched you. He looked for the softest spot in your life, the place you never questioned, and he attacked through that door, not with violence, but with agreement. That person agreed in their heart with the enemy's voice. They may not have meant to, but the result was the same. The moment they agreed with jealousy, it gave the enemy legal right to influence your space. And when that happened, heaven responded instantly. Because God never lets his children be attacked without defense. Michael positioned angels around you that night. When the enemy moved through that person's words or presence, those angels stood between their spirit and yours. That's why you felt tired but didn't fall. That's why you felt pressure but didn't quit. The enemy's full plan was stopped. You may not have known what was happening, but your spirit was being protected every step of the way. You were covered in the middle of a confusion. Type I am guarded to get the blessing 8581. Even in your weakest moment, you were not alone. God never stepped away. In fact, that night was when heaven came closer. Because the moment you were targeted, the Spirit of God marked you again. Not just for protection, but for purpose. This battle wasn't random. It revealed something. You are more powerful than you thought. That's why the enemy tried to sneak in. That's why Michael was assigned to you. Because your next season carries weight in heaven, and the devil wanted to break it before it began. But God didn't allow it. You might feel like you've lost time, but no time is wasted in God. What the enemy tried to steal through this invisible battle, God is restoring. Double. Your strength is coming back. Your vision is coming back. You may have felt broken, but God is building something new inside you. The battle you didn't see is the proof that your calling is real. No one attacks something that isn't valuable. You were targeted because you carry something sacred, something dangerous to the enemy's plans. But that very thing is now being awakened again. Type I am restored to get blessing 7097. Michael wants you to know this truth. You did not lose. The attack happened, but it failed. The devil tried, but heaven stopped him. And now, you're not only free, you're stronger. You now understand what spiritual warfare really feels like. You now know how it moves, how it hides, and how it tries to attach itself through emotion, people, and familiar energy. But now you are alert, and this awareness is your weapon. You will not be caught like that again. You will not fall for disguised darkness again. Because now your spirit is trained. Every moment you felt like giving up, heaven was holding you. Every tear you cried alone, angels were counting them. Every time you felt distant from God, it wasn't distance, it was distraction. And now that the distraction has been exposed, your connection will grow stronger than ever. This is not the end of your fight. This is the beginning of your rise. The battle was real, but so was your victory. And it is written in heaven, this one survived what should have silenced them. Type I am still standing to get blessing 8740. Trust is a beautiful thing, but it can also be a trap when given to the wrong person. You opened your heart because you believed they cared. You listened because their words felt familiar. You shared because you thought they were safe. But behind that comfort was a hidden agenda. Not always from the person, but from the Spirit working through them. That's how the enemy moves. He uses trust as a weapon. He wraps his plans in soft tones, friendly faces, and warm conversations. And just like that, the trap is set. Not with force, but with familiarity. Michael says this is what happened to you. You didn't fall into sin. You fell into access. You gave someone more of your time, your mind, and your emotions than they were meant to have. And because your heart was open, the enemy used that opening to release doubt, fear, and confusion. The person may have smiled, but their spirit had already changed. They didn't come to support. They came to study. They wanted to know your moves, not so they could help, but so they could copy or block them. And your kindness became a spiritual entry point. Type I am protected to get the blessing 7172. You kept feeling like something was off. But every time you tried to pull away, you felt guilty. That guilt wasn't from God. That guilt was a trap. A trick to keep you close to what was silently harming you. Every time you questioned their intentions, something told you to stay quiet, to ignore the signs. But those weren't random feelings. Those were alarms in your spirit. The Holy Spirit was showing you their heart without exposing their face. And because you didn't want to cause drama, you silenced your own discernment. That's when trust became a trap. It's not wrong to love. It's not wrong to trust. But it becomes dangerous when your trust replaces your discernment. God never asked you to be suspicious of everyone. But He does ask you to test every spirit. Not every friendly voice is from heaven. Not every sweet message is pure. Some come with hidden envy. Some come with spiritual assignments attached. That person may not even know they were being used. But the spirit they allowed was real, and it entered your space through what looked like care but felt like control. Type I am wise to get the blessing 8449. This is why your spiritual eyes must stay open. It's not enough to feel someone's heart. You must see their fruit. How do they act when you're blessed? How do they speak when you're not around? Do they pray for you in silence or gossip about you in shadows? These are the tests. And you passed them. You felt the shift. You saw the signs. And now, God is honoring your sensitivity. He's confirming that what you sensed was not in your head. It was in your spirit. You were right to be cautious. You were right to feel uneasy. That was heaven speaking. From this point on, your trust will be guarded. You will still love, but not blindly. You will still give, but not without testing. The enemy thought he could keep you trapped in spiritual fog. But now the fog is lifting. You can see clearly. You can feel when something is off. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to obey what your spirit says. And when your spirit says leave, don't stay to explain. Move. Obey quickly. Because delayed obedience gives the enemy more time to dig in deeper. Type I'm discerning to get blessing 9810. The trap didn't destroy you. It revealed you. It showed you that you are not the same person you used to be. The old you would have stayed longer. The old you would have ignored the signs. But this version of you is stronger, wiser, more alert, more connected to God's voice. And because of that, the enemy lost this battle. He tried to catch you through kindness. He tried to trap you through trust. But you are breaking free. And not just from this moment, but from every future trap that tries to come. Michael says you have passed the test. The enemy will try again, but next time you will see it before it even starts. You will feel it in a handshake. You will sense it in a conversation. Your spirit is being sharpened. Your trust is no longer unguarded, and your heart is no longer a door anyone can walk through. From now on, heaven decides who enters. Not emotions, not history, not guilt, just discernment. This is the next level of your protection, and you have just stepped into it. Type I am awakened to get blessing 6311. You've always had something different about you. Even before you knew it fully, others could feel it. Your presence carried peace. Your words carried healing. Your energy made people feel safe. That is the light God placed inside you. It wasn't earned. It was chosen. It wasn't small. It was divine. But with that light came attention. Not just from people, but from spirits. The enemy noticed your light early. He watched how people opened up to you. He saw how you comforted others. He realized you had something he could not touch. So instead of trying to steal your light, he sent darkness to stand near it. That's what happened on July 29th. The devil didn't come with horns or fire. He came quietly, wrapped in someone who smiled. He used someone who seemed like a friend. Someone who showed support, asked questions, maybe even offered help. But behind that softness was a spiritual shadow, a darkness that could not survive without feeding on your light. That's why they kept coming close. Not because they loved you, but because they needed your glow. Your peace made them feel calm. But instead of being healed, they began to drain you. Type I am glowing to get the blessing 8554. Darkness doesn't always hate the light. Sometimes it desires it, but not in a holy way. It desires to use it, to pull from it, to rest in it. And when someone has darkness in their spirit, they can become addicted to someone else's light. That person may not have meant harm, but they were never sent to stay. They were supposed to be helped by your presence, not attached to it. But they got too close, too comfortable, too familiar. And before you knew it, your light started to flicker. You felt drained, confused, emotionally heavy. You didn't know why. You thought maybe you were just tired. But the truth is, your spirit was carrying more than it should. You were glowing for someone who was not growing. And when you continue to pour into someone who refuses to heal, that pouring becomes a problem. Michael saw that. He saw how your light was being pulled on too often. He saw how the person was not adding anything, just taking. Not blessing, just receiving. And heaven stepped in to say, enough. Type I'm shining to get the blessing 7209. Your light is not for sale. Your peace is not up for grabs. You are not just a safe place for broken people. You are a chosen vessel for God. And that means there are limits. That means not everyone can have daily access to your heart. Some people need prayer from you, not friendship. Some people need distance, not daily conversations. You must protect what you carry. Because when you keep giving without boundaries, your own soul suffers. And that's what was happening. Slowly, your flame was being covered by their storm. But this is where the shift begins. You're not losing your light. You're reclaiming it. You're pulling it back from every space it was taken for granted. You're restoring your peace. Not out of anger, but out of wisdom. You now know what to look for. Who makes you feel liar, and who leaves you feeling lost. Who claps with pure joy, and who hides quiet jealousy. Who truly sees you, and who only sees what they can get from you. This is not about hate. It's about protection. Type I am sacred to get blessing 9332. You are sacred. And sacred things must be handled with care. That's why God is resetting your circle. That's why Michael is standing near. He's guarding the flame you carry. Not just for you, but for those you're called to help. You cannot burn out trying to light someone else's path who refuses to walk it. You cannot lose your joy trying to rescue someone who refuses to be free. You are not their savior. You are a signpost, a light, a reminder of what God can do. But they must choose their own healing. So now, the lines are being redrawn. The boundaries are being restored. You will still love, but you will not allow your glow to be drained. You will still give, but not to the point of spiritual emptiness. Your light is holy. Your heart is holy. And your space must now reflect that. This is not a punishment for them. It is protection for you. And in protecting your light, you protect your future. Type I am restored to get blessing 8907. There comes a moment when love must look like distance. When protection means letting go. When peace requires silence. And when healing comes not from holding tight, but from releasing completely. This is what heaven is showing you now. That person who came close, who smiled, who listened, who made you feel safe, was also the one carrying the energy that weakened you. You didn't want to believe it. You hoped they would change. You prayed the feeling would go away. But the truth is, the feeling with a warning. It was God telling you, separate before it goes deeper. Separation is not rejection. It's redirection. It's not hate. It's healing. When your spirit begins to ache around someone who once made you laugh, that's not confusion. It's confirmation. Something has shifted. Something is no longer in alignment. You didn't change for the worse. You changed for the better. And now, your light exposes what they were trying to keep hidden. That's why they grew distant. That's why their tone changed. That's why their compliments began to feel cold. Because your growth was too loud for their hidden shadows. Type I am separated to get the blessing 9094. Sometimes God doesn't move the person. He moves your spirit away from them. You still see them. You still remember the good. But you no longer feel safe in their presence. That is not random. That is divine. God is using that shift to protect your oil. Because oil must not be poured on dry ground. And if you continue to pour where there is no honor, you'll lose more than just energy. You'll lose clarity, joy, and divine timing. This is not about being rude. It's about being responsible. Michael is not asking you to fight them. He is asking you to release them. In peace. In prayer. With no hate. But with clear boundaries. You can forgive and still keep your distance. You can love and still protect your light. Some people are better loved from a distance because up close, they confuse you. They make you second-guess yourself. They create spiritual static. And heaven says that static is not small, is a warning. Type I am covered to get the blessing 7430. The enemy wants you emotionally attached to what is spiritually dangerous. That's why separation is hard. Because your heart feels what your spirit rejects. But now is the time to let your spirit lead. That means walking away even when you miss them. That means letting them go without needing a final conversation. Not because you are cold, but because you are being called. Called into higher alignment. Called into deeper clarity. And you cannot carry old weight into a new season. The person may come back. They may apologize. They may act like nothing happened. But your spirit knows. It knows the weight they brought, the confusion that followed them. And you must trust that knowing. You must believe what God showed you. Not just once, but over and over. You didn't imagine the heaviness. You didn't make up the tension. It was real. And it was a sign that separation was needed. Type I am chosen to get blessing 8768. Don't wait until your soul is drained to walk away. Don't wait until your peace is gone to make a move. You are not being selfish. You are being obedient. The Spirit of God is calling you to a higher standard, a cleaner space, a circle filled with light, not shadows. And that means leaving behind those who carry hidden envy, confusion, or control. They can love you and still be wrong for your destiny. They can mean well and still cause delay. And heaven is no longer allowing delay to live in your atmosphere. Michael has drawn a line in the spirit, and that line is your new protection. You may cry, you may miss them, but your soul will breathe again. Your spirit will rise, and your clarity will return like fire. This separation is not the end, it's the beginning. You will make room for divine connections, for friendships that heal, not harm, for voices that pray, not compete, and for peace that does not vanish when the conversation ends. You are being positioned for more, and it begins with letting go. Type I am aligned to get blessing 7886. You felt that fire of truth, didn't you? As God revealed the power of separation, your soul stood taller. Now, imagine how many others are trapped in silent bonds, needing this word. When you give today, through super thanks, membership, or by clicking the PayPal link in the description, you are unlocking freedom for someone else. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." This is your moment to sow into deliverance. I hear the Spirit saying, what you release in support, I will return in multiplied clarity. Let your giving be the sword that cuts someone else's chain. Don't wait. Be the reason someone else breaks free. The enemy thought this would break you. He planned for this moment. He thought using someone you trusted would shut you down. He believed if the pain came from a familiar face, it wouldn't go deeper. And in some ways, it did. It shook you. It caught you off guard. It confused your spirit. But what the enemy didn't expect was your rise. He didn't expect your fire to return. He didn't expect you to cry and still keep going. He didn't expect that the very moment he left would be the moment God stepped in to lift you higher. What the enemy meant for destruction, God is now turning into direction. You didn't just survive it, you gained vision from it. You now see people differently. You now pray with more power. You now walk with more authority. Before, you used to explain yourself. Now, you guard your voice. Before, you used to apologize for being chosen. Now, you carry your oil with strength. And the devil is furious, because what was supposed to silence you has only sharpened you. You are not who you were before this attack. You've grown. You've been transformed in silence. Type I am rising to get the blessing 8001. Heaven didn't just watch this happen. Heaven used it. That's what makes God so powerful. He can take what was meant to wound you and use it to prepare you. The betrayal became your training. The silence became your classroom. The confusion became the ground where clarity was planted. Every tear you cried became water for your next level. The devil planned for your pain, but not for your persistence. He thought you'd stay down, but instead, you got still. You got quiet, and in that quiet, God began to speak. Michael saw it all. He saw the enemy rejoice when you trusted the wrong soul. He saw the celebration in the spirit world when doubt started to grow. But then Michael drew his sword. Not because you asked him to, but because you were chosen. He was assigned to you. And when heaven assigns protection, nothing can cancel it. Even when you felt alone, you were covered. Even when you didn't know what was happening, angels were blocking things you'll never know about. You were guided while growing. I am protected to get the blessing 8419. The enemy didn't expect you to use your pain as a weapon. But that's what you're doing now. You are taking everything you felt, the weight, the lies, the heaviness, and turning it into fire. Your story is now your sword. Your weakness has become your weapon. Your confusion has turned into discernment. You now know how spiritual attacks come. You now recognize false peace. You now hear the difference between a compliment and a curse. You've been sharpened by what tried to shatter you, and heaven is applauding your growth. This is the moment the enemy regrets. He regrets choosing someone close. He regrets pushing you too far. Because instead of breaking your spirit, he revealed your strength. Instead of stealing your light, he forced you to protect it. And now you walk with your head up. Not out of pride, but out of healing. You now know who you are. And more importantly, you know whose you are. You are not an easy target anymore. You are spiritually armed. And the next time an attack tries to come, it will bounce off your discernment like fire off water. I'm awakened to get blessing 7677. You don't have to be afraid of future attacks. You've already overcome what was sent to crush you. You've already passed the test. And now, there's a grace over your life that the enemy cannot touch. The wrong soul may have hurt you, but it also pushed you into a level of strength that you would have never chosen on your own. You are no longer asking why. You're thanking God for the shift. Because this shift saved you. It protected your destiny. And now, your path is clear. You are not confused anymore. You are not doubting anymore. You are ready. So walk forward boldly. Speak with authority. Pray with fire. Guard your circle. Protect your oil. And never again apologize for growing. The enemy thought this would stop you, but it has launched you. What he meant as a trap has become your testimony. And from this moment on, every step you take will carry power. Not because of what you avoided, but because of what you overcame. I am unshakable to get blessing 9260. God does not waste pain. He does not ignore betrayal. He sees every broken moment, every silent cry, every time your heart was heavy, and you didn't know why. He saw what happened on July 29th. He saw who you trusted. He saw the spiritual transfer. He saw the weight that entered. And he allowed it, not to destroy you, but to wake you. God used the wound to open your eyes. He used the betrayal to shift your spirit. Because you were getting too comfortable. You were trusting too quickly. You were pouring too much into places that were no longer holy. The pain pulled you back into God's presence. It made you quiet. It made you question what was happening. And in that quiet place, he whispered truth. He said, "This was not your fault, but it was your lesson." The lesson was not about being suspicious. It was about being sensitive. Sensitive to his voice. Sensitive to your inner warning. God didn't want to hurt you. He wanted to help you. But sometimes, the only way to shake your focus is through a moment of pain. And this pain has become your awakening. I am learning to get the blessing 7870. There is a version of you that only pain can unlock. Not because suffering is holy, but because awareness is. You are now more aware. You feel the room differently. You cat-headed it quicker. You hear the shift in someone's tone. You sense when something is off. Awareness didn't come from books. It came from experience. It came from the night something entered your life, and your spirit knew before your heart did. That night became the moment God shifted your spiritual gift from sleeping to active. He activated the watcher inside you. Michael didn't just protect you, he positioned you. He allowed just enough discomfort to wake you up, but not enough to destroy you. That's how heaven works. You are now in a stronger position than ever before. You know who you are. You know what you carry. You know what you must guard. The wound opened your eyes. And now, with open eyes, you can move with wisdom. You can see who belongs and who doesn't. You can hear what's said, and also what's unsaid. The wound has become a tool. Type I am wiser to get the blessing 8535. It still hurts sometimes. That's okay. Healing is not a straight path. There are days when the memory comes back. The words, the silence, the moment they change you. But now you don't cry the same way. Now, when you remember it, you also remember the power it gave you. You remember how God covered you, how angels stood in the gap, how you didn't fall even when you felt like collapsing. The pain was deep, but your survival was deeper. And God is proud of how you held on, even in silence, even with confusion. You held on. You're not just healing from what happened. You're healing from what you believed about yourself during that time. You thought you were weak. You thought you were slipping. You thought maybe you did something wrong. But now you see clearly. You were under attack. And you stood anyway. You carried the weight anyway. You worshipped anyway. It's strength. It's power. And God says, because you didn't quit, I'm promoting you in the spirit. Type I am healed to get blessing 9008. This wound was not wasted. And birthed a warrior. You don't just pray now, you war. You don't just love now, you discern. You don't just walk now, you march with angels. Every scar has become a symbol of your growth. Every tear has watered the next level of your purpose. And heaven is honoring the fight in you. The quiet, private fight that no one else saw. The one you fought with no applause, no help, no understanding. But you made it. And because you made it, others will too. This is why you had to go through it. Because now you will warn others. Now you will lead others. Now your story has weight. And the devil is terrified. Because what he meant as a private attack is now becoming a public breakthrough. People will look at you and see light. But they will never know the storm you survived to keep that light burning. But God knows. Michael knows. And heaven has written it down. This one grew through the wound. Type I am rising again to get blessing 7156. There has always been a war over your life. Not one with guns or explosions, but a quiet, spiritual war. A battle between light and darkness. A battle for your mind, your voice, and your purpose. You didn't ask for this war. You were born into it. Because the moment you were chosen, the enemy saw your name written in heaven. He saw your assignment. He saw your strength. And even before you believed in yourself, he knew how powerful you would become. That is why he attacked through someone close. He wanted to stop your destiny before you step into it. On July 29th at 9:09 p.m., that plan moved into action. The devil had been waiting for the right moment. He used someone who knew you, someone who had access. He didn't need to speak to you directly. He just needed someone to carry confusion into your space. And for a moment, it worked. Your energy dropped. Your thoughts became cloudy. You started to question your next steps. You pulled back from things you were once sure about. That was not weakness. That was warfare. A spiritual attack dressed in normal life. Type I am awake to get the blessing 7631. Michael saw the trap. He saw how the enemy tried to distract you just before your breakthrough. Because the devil couldn't destroy what God had planned, he tried to delay it. He hoped that delay would bring discouragement. He hoped that doubt would make you walk away from your purpose. He hoped the pain would cause you to forget the promise. But what he didn't see was your spirit's strength. You may have bent, but you didn't break. You may have slowed down, but you didn't stop. And now heaven is rewarding your endurance. You must understand this. Your destiny is not small. It is not something you made up. It is real. It is written. And that is why you are a target. People without purpose are not attacked like this. The enemy does not fight those who pose no threat. But you carry answers. You carry fire. You carry healing for others. That's why the enemy came after your mind. Because if he can confuse your mind, he can delay your mission. But now the fog is clearing. Now your thoughts are coming back into order. Type I am focused to get the blessing 8964. This war is not over, but your position has changed. You are no longer fighting blindly. You now understand the source of the pressure. You now see the pattern. The devil always tries to send a person before your next level. He tries to disguise delay as friendship. He tries to turn your love into your weakness. But now you're prepared. You know what to watch for. You know how to respond. And most of all, you know how to protect what God has placed in you. Your destiny is too valuable to be left unguarded. Michael is still by your side. He was not just sent to fight once. He is assigned to you. Because of your calling. Because of the weight you carry. And he's not just defending you, he's pushing you forward. Every step you take now is guided by wisdom. Every decision you make is covered in prayer. Every room you enter will feel your authority. You are not who you were before the attack. You've been refined by fire. And now, your walk carries divine weight. Type I am moving forward to get blessing 7477. Don't waste time trying to fix what God asked you to walk away from. Don't go back to conversations that drained you. Don't explain your growth to people who only want the old version of you. You don't owe anyone your destiny. You owe God your obedience. The enemy tried to use someone to keep you small. But now God is using that very attack to make you stronger. You are rising into your assignment. You are stepping into your role. And this time, nothing will hold you back. The silent war was never about your comfort. It was about your calling. The moment you trusted the wrong soul, the devil smiled. But now, he's running. Because what was supposed to weaken you has only proven how unshakable you are. You are chosen. You are covered. And you are stepping into everything God wrote about you before you were born. Type I am chosen to get blessing 8302. You are entering a new level now. A level where the old you cannot go. A level where your voice has power, your prayers carry weight, and your presence shifts the atmosphere. But with new levels come new requirements. New clarity. New focus. And most of all, new protection. What covered you before is no longer enough. What worked in the last season will not be enough for what God is doing next. That's why the enemy attacked. He knew the shift was near. He knew the old distractions wouldn't work anymore. So he tried to stop you through something personal. Michael didn't just fight to protect you. He fought to transition you. He knew this wasn't just an attack. It was a signal, a sign that God was calling you to rise higher. It meant shedding old attachments, letting go of people who couldn't grow with you, and guarding your heart like never before. You cannot move forward carrying what tried to break you. You must release it, not with bitterness, but with strength. Your destiny is too valuable to be held hostage by what already showed its true spirit. Type "I am transitioning" to get the blessing 8510. Your new level needs quiet. It needs silence to hear God clearly. It needs space to rest and think. That's why confusion had to go. That's why certain people had to be removed. It's not rejection, it's preparation. You are being prepared for something divine, a moment in time that has been waiting for you. And you must not miss it because you are busy trying to explain your growth to people who are not growing. Not everyone can go. Not everyone will understand. And that's okay. God didn't call a crowd. He called you. You will notice things feel different now. You will feel the shift in your spirit. The old habits won't feel right. The old jokes won't sound funny. The old places won't bring peace. That's not emptiness. It's elevation. Your soul is rising. Your mind is shifting. And your heart is becoming stronger. This is not depression. This is transformation. It feels uncomfortable because you are shedding what no longer fits. You are outgrowing old survival modes. And you are walking into new spiritual authority. Type "I am elevated" to get the blessing 7199. This protection is not just about avoiding danger. It's about preparing for divine assignments. God is about to use you in ways that require deeper purity, stronger focus, and higher faith. That means your boundaries must be firm, your time must be guarded, and your words must be chosen carefully. You can no longer afford to waste energy. You can no longer explain your obedience to those who live in rebellion. You are being set apart, not to be alone, but to be aligned. Michael is still near. His sword is still drawn. But now, he's not just defending. You are learning to fight in prayer, to speak with authority, to walk in rooms knowing who you are. That confidence isn't pride, it's protection. It tells the enemy, you can't confuse me anymore. You can't delay me anymore. You can't sneak in through fake love anymore. You are now dangerous to darkness. Because your eyes are open, your discernment is sharp, and your spirit is clear. Type "I am protected" to get blessing 7845. Don't shrink to fit the comfort of others. Don't lower your standards to stay connected. If God is raising you, He will also send those who can walk with you at this height. Your next level will attract divine friendships. People who pray with you. People who cover you in private. People who speak life when you feel weak. And those people won't compete. They'll celebrate. They won't copy. They'll compliment. But they will only come once you let go of what has been draining you. That's why the separation had to happen first. Your protection is not just physical, it's spiritual. God is building a wall around your purpose. He's shielding your anointing. He's guarding your peace. And He's using angels to keep darkness far from your door. You are now a carrier of God's fire. You can't live like everyone else. You can't speak like everyone else. You've been marked. And that mark requires movement. Bold movement. Fearless obedience. Bold trust. This is your new level. And heaven is rejoicing that you made it. Type "I am secure" to get blessing 9323. You've reached the end of this message, but not the end of your story. Everything you've walked through, every heavy feeling, every broken trust, every silent battle, was not wasted. God saw it all. And now, heaven has spoken clearly. This is your final warning and your open door to freedom. What entered on July 29th at 9:09 p.m. was real. It was a spiritual force meant to stay hidden. It used someone close to you to create confusion, exhaustion, and delay. But now, through this prophetic word, the spell is broken, the fog is lifting, and the file chains are falling off. You are not just healing. You are now spiritually reset. This moment is sacred. This clarity is rare. And what you do next will determine what happens next. Will you go back to the familiar pain? Or will you rise into the unfamiliar promise? Will you cling to people who once drained you? Or will you move forward into the divine covering prepared for your future? The choice is yours. But heaven is urging you, do not go back. You are too anointed. You are too close. You are too called. Michael has finished his assignment. The dark energy that attached itself through misplaced trust has been removed. The spiritual infection has been purged. The devil's celebration has turned into confusion. He lost. Because you didn't ignore this message. Because you listened. Because you believe. And now, as you stand in this final moment, the Lord says, you are free. Walk like it. Think like it. Speak like it. Let no voice from your past speak louder than the future God has already written. Your peace will return. Your energy will rise. Your gifts will flow again. You will dream again. And most of all, you will trust again, but this time with wisdom. No more being blind to red flags. No more letting guilt silence your discernment. This is your spiritual maturity. This is your fresh oil. This is the beginning of the real version of you. The one the enemy feared would wake up. Type I am finally free to get blessing 7007. You made it to the end, and something in you has shifted. You know this word wasn't just for inspiration. It was a rescue, a deliverance. And now, others need the same. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or by using the PayPal link in the description, you're not giving to a video, you're giving to a divine interruption in someone else's life. God says in Galatians 6:9, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you shall reap if you do not give up. If this message broke something off of you, let your gift release break through for another. The same sword that cut your chains can now break theirs through your giving. Don't delay. Obey. Be a part of someone else's freedom.